the challenge with EAP is there's like too many points of friction that reduce the chance of someone actually getting support.
Both you and I have been in sales. You're a higher end sales, I'm a gym membership sales. and a part of doing any sort of sales is leads, right? Warm leads, cold leads, hot leads. And what I want to talk about is the idea of warm referrals. So in the work that we do, a big part of that, and I think at one of the sites you went to, you had 10 referrals to EAP. A big part of what we do is referring people on to the EAP provider on site, to their GP if we're coaching them, to their leader if they're comfortable with their leader, or whatever professional we think would work best. What do you think is the power for a leader in creating those connections so that they can provide warm referrals?
Yeah, so I think a lot of leaders sit in this space of, if I learn how to have a conversation with someone, I'm gonna have to be their counselor and their psychologist and their coach, but that's not actually, there's no truth to any of that. Like, mental health first aid is literally about empowering someone to put their hands on the oars, is what we talk about, and they row their own boat. So we ask questions of what do they need. So by asking someone who's working for you as a team member, by having a conversation with them about, hey, what's going on for you, what's happening, here are some options for support, which one would you like to choose, then that person is then empowered in their own decision making. It's not about a leader going, I think you should go see your GP. It's about empowering someone to understand that they're making their own choice. So it might be, I want to go see the EAP, I want to see a psychologist. And then a leader can support them by going, hey, can you tell me what date you're going to go and do that? And then putting a little note in your calendar so you don't need to think about it. And then when that prompt comes up, dropping in and going, hey Steve, just checking in, when we chatted, you said you were gonna go see the GP, how did that go? And then that provides another layer of like real connection, right? Because all of a sudden you're a leader who's seen to be caring and kind, and a person who feels seen, we know they perform better. They are likely to be more supportive of their teammates. There's so many benefits for the culture of the organisation as a whole.
With one of the questions that we get to ask in the sessions around framing safety before we do story is speaking about EAP, making people aware of who their provider is, and then asking, hey, has anyone here used your EAP service? And more often than not, one or two people will put their hands up, and just through colleagues and peers within that session saying, yep, I've used it, that then creates a warm referral outlet for us when we're having those one-on-one chats, those open, safe conversations to say, hey, this service is good. Like, remember when so-and-so said this? Are you open to trying that? And because someone they know has said, yes, I've used it, it worked for me, maybe they framed it in a different way where it wasn't like, oh, it's about my personal issues, it's more about how do I help my partner or my kid, then they're more likely to use it. And I think one of the best examples of that is having chaplains on site at FMG. And what that allowed me to do in using that warm referral was, if I knew the chaplain, I spent time with them, had a chat, got their phone number, I could have those one-on-one chats and then go, hey, do you mind if I give your number to the chaplain? And the chaplain can give you a call and set up a time. Immediately, because I was recommending it, because I knew them, because I said, oh, they're awesome, they do this and this, that person was open to it, but then giving that number to someone to follow up took away the friction of them having to call, finding the courage to say, oh, I don't really want to do this, but I'm going to do it anyway. And that was 100% strike rate, getting the chaplain to call.
I think removing friction, it's something you and I have been thinking about a lot over the last week, right? Is like, how do we remove friction from the work that we do and the impact that we have? And I think the challenge with EAP is there's like too many points of friction that reduce the chance of someone actually, like a warm lead, actually getting support. You know, they can rock up to a GP and see the GP, or they can rock up to the nurse on site. If a chaplain phones them, like, there's no friction there at all. But with an EAP, it's like, ring up, like, okay, which area do you work in? All right, you can get a psych appointment in 3 weeks. You know, which often people will talk to us because there's no friction, right? We're there and they feel safe to be vulnerable, so they will have a conversation, and then we, from there, depending on how chaotic their life is and what's going on for them, provide the referral to the next level of support. And that might be, hey, what are you comfortable with? Do you want to talk to your leader about this? Do you want whatever whatever that service may be. But I think EAP, if they could create less friction in that, it would be a more efficient, more utilised service.
Yeah.